mynews.studio.
In some parts of Africa, there are now more solar panels than cattle. That shift is pretty remarkable, considering how recently people doubted the continent's energy future. So, how did Africa manage the world's fastest clean energy leap?
And just to place us in time, today's date is 2026-02-23. Let's unpack Africa's solar boom. In 2025, solar installations jumped by 54% compared to 2024. That's the sharpest annual increase Africa has ever seen. What's behind this rapid climb?
The latest report from the Global Solar Council helps explain it. Growth is coming from both large utility-scale farms and smaller distributed setups, things like rooftop and commercial systems. Last year, 8 countries each installed over 100 megawatts. That's double the number from the year before. And the Africa Solar Industry Association tracked more than 42,000 projects, adding at least 2.4 gigawatts, though the real number might be higher, since small installations often aren't reported.
That's quite a transformation. Not long ago, Africa's energy story was mostly about grid failures and heavy reliance on fossil fuels. But I noticed that in 2025 alone, Chinese solar module exports to Africa reached 16.1 gigawatts. That suggests total capacity could be nearly 64 gigawatts, almost triple the official figures. Does this mean Africa really is the world's fastest-growing solar market?
Yes, it does, and by a wide margin. Africa's solar capacity grew at a 17% compound annual rate, while the global average was just 2%. Importantly, distributed solar, like rooftops and mini-grids, accounted for 44% of new capacity. That matters, because these systems can work around unreliable national grids, and most are privately financed.
So, utility-scale projects are still moving forward as well. Public procurement seems to play a role. AFCIA even revised its 2024 numbers up to 3.7 gigawatts. That suggests this momentum isn't just a one-year spike.
Exactly. And looking ahead, projections point to over 33 gigawatts by 2029, about 6 times the 2025 level. This growth is being reinforced by solar paired with storage, which makes grids more stable, and by local manufacturing, particularly in places like Egypt. The market's value climbed to $14.3 billion in 2025 and is expected to keep rising.
But with such rapid expansion, are there technical hurdles? How are countries handling grid integration and storage?
They're investing in smart grid technologies and more distributed generation, which helps keep supply and demand balanced. Solar trackers are being used to boost output. For storage, battery systems are coming online. South Africa is a good example. They're using solar plus storage to meet peak demand and have a big 100 megawatt solar thermal plant. And policy is a factor too. Net metering and feed-in tariffs are helping connect more solar to the grid.
What about places where the grid hasn't reached yet? Are off-grid solutions starting to close that gap?
Definitely. Off-grid mini-grids are filling in where there's no grid, though upfront costs can be high. In South Africa, pay-as-you-go rooftop solar models now serve over 1 million households, adding about 1.5 gigawatts. And utility programs like REIPPP have created thousands of jobs while growing capacity.
That's a big boost for local economies. Besides job creation, how is this solar growth changing everyday access to electricity?
In 2025 alone, 18 countries surpassed 100 megawatts of new solar capacity. This spread is opening up new job markets and bringing electricity to places that never had it before. Importing 15 gigawatts of panels mid-year is also encouraging local manufacturing, especially in Western Africa. Nigeria, for instance, is seeing new community power projects and fresh industrial growth linked to solar.
Earlier, you mentioned financing. What's Africa doing differently that other developing regions could learn from?
Several things. Pay-as-you-go models, strong public-private partnerships, and tools to reduce investment risk. For example, REIPPP attracted $2 billion for 2.3 gigawatts of projects. Africa also uses blended finance. Programs like Get Invest help secure low-cost capital. That's key, since Africa only receives 3% of global energy investment. but needs about $200 billion each year.
And do you think these approaches could work in other regions?
They could. The combination of innovative finance, smart policy incentives like renewable credits, and a willingness to skip over traditional grid models is a real template for Asia, Latin America, and elsewhere.
So to wrap up, Africa isn't just closing its energy gap. It's actually setting a new pace for clean energy growth. This is about leapfrogging old infrastructure, tackling climate goals, and extending power to millions.
And it shows that rapid, large-scale renewable adoption is possible, even with limited resources. Africa's solar leap is reshaping energy, economies, and daily life.
That brings us to the end of today's look at Africa's solar surge, where solar panels now outnumber cattle, and a continent is leading in clean energy. Thanks for joining us. This episode was powered by mynews.studio. Try it now for free.